Did you know this podcast is powered by Acast? Acast is the home of podcasting. For creators looking for freedom to grow their listeners and make money too. And creative brands looking for smart ways to advertise. Podcasters and advertisers in the know Acast. It's time you did too. Visit acast.com to find out more. Acast, for the stories.
EA Play happened. It was kind of whatever. But more importantly, Blizzard sucks.
Yeah.
There it is.
They're on a good track right now.
I mean, I don't know about good.
Yeah. Did you see that? This is completely random, not video game related. What kind of?
Well, that's
Not
how we
really.
start the podcast.
That city in China that got a year's worth of rain in 3 days.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's a lot of rain.
Yeah.
It depends. What's a year's worth for them?
Enough to where like tunnels that would normally,
Oh, okay.
be housing vehicle traffic
Yeah.
filled with water and people drown and all that fun stuff.
Okay, yeah. So a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Because like some places, a year's worth could be 12 inches.
Yeah. No, they got like I don't know. There was a story. There was a shop owner who their entire first floor flooded and they had water up to their chest.
It's a lot of water.
Crazy. Yeah. Sounds like fun.
I
Not really.
mean, you and I have different versions of fun.
I live a boring life. You know? What is this podcast called? Gamers 2 Podcast.
Waiting for it.
Your weekly roundup of news and commentary related to the video game industry and not about current events, generally. But, we'll keep it fresh. Sprinkle in some things that might pique our interest.
How many things did we sprinkle?
I don't know, man. That was just a, random hand gesture. So we
sprinkled
sprinkled in.
just salt baying
Yeah.
random things into the conversation.
Little flooding in China. Little what else?
A little
we
bit of
got?
flooding over here, a little bit of natural disaster over here because there's fires all over the West Coast.
That's normal for them, though.
Yeah, right. That's just Tuesday.
Yeah, that's just gender reveal parties
And people.
people. Oh, what's the other terrible news that I read this week that I didn't like? Oh, because of COVID, there's an influx of people traveling through the national parks.
Right. Wait, which was happening, last year.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the one where somebody hit a bear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Somebody
they hit
speeding through and hit a cub?
bear cub, and apparently it's happened a few times.
Yeah. Because it
That sent me in like a fit of rage the other morning. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. Well, that goes to me just being like, well, shut down the national parks.
I mean, I think
Fuck
we
them
should
people.
just, these people, they got to ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah. So shut them down for a few years and then
Jeez.
actually limited access them.
Yeah.
Which is what they were before COVID, and their brother decided to go through them. Speaking
Anyways.
of COVID things, let's just derail the entire thing.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of COVID things, I was debating going to PAX.
Yeah.
But my debating of going to PAX was debating doing it quickly.
Like sprinting?
Like fly out Friday early, do whatever I can Friday, do whatever I can Saturday, leave Sunday morning.
I mean, that's almost like a normal PAX.
Kind of, but that's 4 days. I'd only see 2.
Yeah.
Like 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking I could probably get through everything the way that I normally PAX anyway. It just means I'd skip most panels probably and just
you
show
only
floor.
do the things you absolutely want to.
And it would be the only way that I could justify affording it. But I'm still not positive that I want to do it. I like the idea in a novelty aspect, but I don't think I want to do it.
My current thing.
I also haven't looked at flight prices, which would change literally everything.
Yeah, I think that my opinion is to not do it. Save the money. for something that pops up during the year that you might want to go to.
Save the money. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I know, right? And then I almost sent you a.
Don't give me hope.
There was a sale on the AMD processors went on sale recently.
Oh yeah, well the one that I've been looking at, it's been $410 from $490.
I think I saw it pop up for $375 or something like that.
Oh, that's
I was gonna send it to you, but then I was like, what I was gonna send you was the 5900 and be like, don't be a bitch. Yeah. Anyway, save the money for an event that'll pop up.
Yeah.
During the year, and then you avoid. I mean, you've done PAX. This is probably going to be a weird year. There's the whole Delta variant thing, and we all know how dirty all those people are.
Yeah, oh God, they're terrible. Which is surprising when you think that I survived one in February before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Which is even funnier when you think that I survived that and the Texas trip in which I was in Chicago 6 days after they had a confirmed case that they had somebody locked down that I went through the airport.
It's like an episode. It's like a Mr. Bean movie where you're like stumbling through disasters and not even realizing it.
I walked the line so hard through that entire thing because I had to get stuck in Chicago too. That was the thing. It wasn't like I was just hitting my connecting. I was supposed to hit a connecting, and then I got stuck overnight. That's how I found out because we went to the bar at the hotel, and you see the news pop up, and my coworker and I look at each other, and we're like,
shit.
This is going to get worse, isn't it? And then I went to Boston a month later.
Shit.
I still didn't hear any reports of anybody coming out of PAX with it. Or at least there was no email from anybody of like, hey, there was a chance that somebody there had it, so please go yada yada. There was nothing.
Yeah.
But I came back from PAX and then 2 weeks later, hey, everybody go home.
Yeah. Crazy times.
And then you caught it and I didn't.
Yep.
What legends.
Yep. Still can't taste this Coke. Disgusting, by the way.
It's just carbonation.
It just tastes like I can't even describe it. It's just gross.
All right. Anyway, yeah, so that's the podcast. We'll talk to you guys next week. Can you imagine if we put out 10-minute segments? If it just the entire idea of do the entire podcast, but in 10 minutes, how much do we actually ever get out? Done? The podcast end? Like if we just made a joke of to hard cut ourselves at 10 minutes and then release that.
No matter what?
Yeah, just see where we were.
We wouldn't be able to. At all. It would people would be like, oh, video game news in 10 minutes. All right, let's check it out. And
the bonus,
it's literally talk about China and bear cubs. And...
Yeah, actually in an entire off-topic reference, we should make 15-minute clips that are just us rambling, so that way people, when they have to go on their 15 minutes, can just play it real quick and be like, that was my 15 minutes, and then end it. Anyway, so if there's things you want to do to distract yourself from this podcast,
new release video games might be the answer.
Things like Akiba's Trip Hellbound Debriefed for the PlayStation and Switch, Observer System Redux for the PlayStation and Xbox, Orcs Must Die 3 for the PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, Scrap Garden for the PS4 and Xbox, Death's Door for Xbox and PC, and Pokemon Unite for the Switch.
Noise.
Play a Pokemon MOBA. Or the beloved Death's Door.
I just saw a topic on Reddit about Pokemon Unite. It's not in the doc.
Is it the one that I saw? That I was referencing directly in our conversation?
Which one was that? Did you what?
Remember when Dewey and I were going back and forth yesterday?
Yeah, I was kind of half paying attention.
Yeah, I figured because you saw Pokemon and tuned out immediately.
Yeah.
You saw Pokemon, MOBA, and microtransactions and tuned out.
Yep. It said some generic microtransaction comment.
Because there was a very long post in the Nintendo Switch subreddit.
Is it about loot boxes?
It was about the microtransaction setup and schema of the game, where it's offensive how it's set up.
So this one, I think someone they basically found out that you are capped at the amount of loot boxes you can get in game without paying money.
Yeah, yep. The other guy didn't have that science, but he had the breakdown of some time to earn mixed in, but
Yeah.
he didn't have like the true cap science.
I think they
So,
said
yeah,
14.
It's probably that guy saw that post and then went actual science, and then now we have 2.
Yeah. I think it's like 14, and then after that, you have to spend real money to keep getting the loot boxes, which I guess they're significant to gameplay. Like they're kind of like a requirement for the game. I don't know.
Yeah, because like I said, they probably if they're the ones that I think they are, they make you literally stronger.
Yeah. Good times.
It's called pay to win, kids.
Yep.
Go get mommy and daddy's credit card and swipe away.
Don't
Literally, that's how you get things on the Switch. You take your credit card, you try to swipe it through. If we tell them that, it won't work. We'll be okay.
until the next version of the
When it
Switch
does
or
happen.
the
The
Steam
Switch-
Deck will have a card reader on the top of it.
Instead of Switch OLED, it has Switch NFC scan.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the current Switch has NFC scan because of the amiibos.
Oh, yeah.
So I wonder if you can NFC scan a credit card on the shop to pay for things.
Apple Pay. Odds or evens?
Evens.
Even Steven, number 1.
My name's not Steven, and I'm
It
pretty
is
odd.
now, Nathan.
You fuck.
Nintendo took to Twitter to deny claims that its margin will be higher with the Switch OLED compared to the current model. It also clarified that it has no plans to release another Switch for the time being, essentially denying additional rumors that a Switch Pro is still in the works, which any company would deny those rumors so they could sell the models they have available now. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. In its story from last week, Bloomberg said that the Switch OLED was estimated to cost around $10 more per unit to make, which would mean increased profit margins for Nintendo. Okay.
I mean, anybody surprised?
No, I mean, we're not surprised.
That's just how it has to be.
Yep. And like, whatever. I'm not even gonna waste my breath. There's other things we're gonna have to talk about anyways.
All right, number 2. An overwhelming number of orders caused problems for Valve when it opened pre-orders for the newly announced Steam Deck. Many users struggled to get through the reservation process, either encountering error messages about the transaction itself that they had attempted too many purchases in the last few hours, or that their account was too new to make the reservation. Some users were told reservation may or may not be successful even after completing the process. It's up to you. You figure it out. The first round of pre-orders is expected to ship in December, arriving in Q1 2022. However, reservations for the 256GB model have been pushed back to Q2, and orders for the 512 model are expected in Q3. Tangentially related, Valve is planning on replacing a big picture mode with the UI from the Steam Deck, which, as far as I'm concerned, was basically big picture mode. So what does that mean?
I don't know. I think people who care more about this than us have noticed differences.
Yeah, it's probably like, ooh, it does this slightly better or differently.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure.
It also has a standard M.2 slot, I guess. It's not the hard drive, memory, whatever you want to call it, is not soldered onto the device, so you can theoretically
upgrade it.
Yeah. Which Valve said was not their intentions for it to be upgradable by the user. It was, they put it that way for repair purposes, so
Still nice either way.
yeah. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I still want to see the breakdowns and everything. That's all.
Yeah. Teardown will be fun
Yeah.
to watch.
For sure. Tear down and then will it blend?
But can it play Crisis? Game Developers Conference organizer Informa Tech announced that next year's show would return to being an in-person event after 2 years of virtual shows. GDC 2022 will see the conference return to the Masson. Is that how you say that? Moscone Center in San Francisco from March 21st through March 25th.
I mean, I have no idea how you pronounce it. But hey, cool to see that it's going to be returning to in-person event. We'll see if that stands.
Yeah. What he said.
Because I'm not convinced. Especially in San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on anymore. I just don't know.
Let's keep going then. Number 4, Tencent has announced it has taken a majority stake in Swedish game developer Stunlock Studios. The studio will continue creating games with no change to its business structure while receiving Tencent's strategic support. Stunlock Studios has developed titles such as Bloodline Champions, Dead Island Epidemic, and most recently, Battle Royale.
I think this is the only Tencent thing we have in this week, but there was a slew of things that Tencent either purchased, bought a majority stake in, or took a minority stake in. This week, they're kind of spreading their tentacles about, which has caused some questions.
Oh, you mean that China's just spreading around?
Yeah. Then there was a thing with Super Hot as well.
Super hot.
They removed... apparently they removed the part where you kill yourself in the game.
Oh, that is... Yeah, I forgot about that was a part.
Yes, they removed that. And there was like a whole thing for that as well that was kind of related. I don't know. Number 5. Teamy Studio Group. Is it Timmy? I'm gonna go Teamy.
That works for me.
Teamy Studio Group has opened another AAA studio in Montreal, marking the company's third location to open in North America. Teamy, owned by Tencent, is best known for working on popular mobile titles such as Call of Duty Mobile, Honor of Kings, and Pokemon Unite.
Call of Duty Mobile was a great game. Like it surprised. I played it when it first came out, and then everybody went and got Bluetooth controllers and hooked up to it and played that way like a bunch of scumbags. But it was impressive for what it was.
Yeah, I remember looking at it, not really playing it, but looking at it.
Yeah, I believe we talked about it when I was playing it on here. So, yeah. Anything else?
No. Okay.
Number 6, Netflix has offered more details on its expansion into the video game sector, which will begin with bringing mobile games to its subscribers. Polygon reports Netflix COO Greg Peters confirmed these games would not have in-game purchases or ads. Games are expected to be included in Netflix's paid membership at no extra cost and will be based on IP the company has already created for its TV and film projects. Okay. So, like, Stranger Things mobile game coming to Netflix subscription.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see how that works. Maybe they'll do some sort of, like, Telltale style.
Well, I think there is a Telltale Stranger Things already. Like, what I'm referencing, I think exists.
Yeah. Is there Stranger Telltale?
It's probably not technically Telltale because they don't exist.
Yeah.
But yes. They're just the first ones I could think of in terms of like a Netflix IP already.
Bridgerton. Most watch Netflix TV series.
Yeah?
Yep. I was really disappointed when I saw that. Number 2 was The Witcher.
All right.
The movies? All right, so here's the weird thing. So there was a graph that came out.
Is this like yearly?
I'm going to assume so. Or maybe, I think it might just be all time, actually, because it includes Stranger Things in it. So, it was like views all time. All the movies, like all the top ones, I don't think I've ever heard of. And it's just Netflix only. Like Netflix's properties on Netflix.
Okay.
So that was fun. Anyways. Oh, sweet. I get this one. This is perfect.
I don't.
You're going to love this. According to a new report from the Consumer Technology Association, over half of all households in the U.S. own a game console. 41% of that total owns an older device, while 26% of those surveyed have upgraded to a PS5 or an Xbox Series. 30% of those surveyed say they want to purchase a game console in the next 12 months. For those looking to purchase new consoles, 21% plan to buy a, quote, next-generation console, while 15% intend to buy a, quote, recent generation console. You want me to repeat any of those for you?
I want you to put this on that penis-shaped rocket Bezos was on and send it to the fucking moon.
Jeffrey Bezos.
You did it! Congratulations! The issue I take with this...
Here we go.
There's one massive issue, and it's the issue... It's one of the biggest issues I take when these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Do you know?
Sample size?
Right, exactly.
Tell
me what the number is that you surveyed against.
I don't have an answer for it.
Right, I know you don't, because they will never tell you. They'll be like, according to this survey, it turns out that all of the households are like, we surveyed 1,000 people. It turns out that 501 happened to be that, so we're going to extrapolate that across, I don't know, 3 billion people. And you're like,
how many?
That's not how that works at all.
How many people are in the U.S.? Is it like 300 million or something like that? I'm curious, like what?
It's probably more than that. Do we want to guess U.S. population?
Yeah, go for it.
Over under or?
Sure. I mean,
I'll ballpark 516.
Okay, I'm just gonna stick with my first
million
number.
To be clear, not 516 people.
Yeah, that'd be
I
great.
wish.
Yeah. All right, I'm sticking with my 300 million. Yeah, 328.2 as of 2019.
Right. I remembered a 300 or like a 200 number from years ago, and I figured we would have, tripled that apparently by now.
So, like, to get a good survey of the United States, the whole U.S.
I need at least 1 million people.
Even 1 million people wouldn't really give you a
Yeah,
lot.
I know, but I'm telling you I need at least 1 million to begin to justify. Not saying it does justify, but it begins to justify. It's probably closer to like 10.
I would say it's... Yeah, because even what you said, 1 million, right?
I said at like the minimum 1 million to have some type of legitimacy, and then
that wouldn't even be 1% of the population.
Yeah, you'd have to be like closer to probably like 10 million people surveyed, and even then, I'm still not convinced. Then
I think we should move to have those questions added to the next census.
I also move for the motion that anytime somebody does one of these, they have to put the exact number of people they surveyed. I don't need to know who. I just need to know the number you surveyed. Because I know you didn't. I know you didn't survey 114 or no. Oh my god, my math.
Not a math pod. It'd be interesting to see
168 million.
168 million.
Is that half? 164 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's 328.
I'm gonna go with 164 and ballpark it then.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see like the ethnicity divide, like if it messes, like if there's certain ethnic groups or whatever that have way more game consoles than others.
I'll show me a breakdown of maps
by state.
Yeah, and then do the population density to consoles, so I can just see like
if you see the cities,
some place in Montana's flaming red because it has 1 person to 1 console guaranteed ratio, and you're like, Does every person in Montana own a console? No, there's like 7 of you, but shit.
Consoles based on state like GDP.
Consoles based on their loyalty to the union.
Consoles.
Texas has 0.
Consoles owned versus guns owned. That might be
Consoles owned versus affordable healthcare costs. Per state. Take a guess which one wins that. Consoles.
Consoles versus dogs.
How many consoles can you afford in one ER trip?
Oh, that's a good one. Per state.
Per state.
Yeah.
Per state, and we're saying you go to the ER for like a broken arm.
Actually, that would probably be really interesting if you did it per country, because like some like Brazil, like consoles in Brazil are like stupidly expensive.
Yeah, but like if you go to Canada, the ER trip doesn't cost you anything. So.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It'd be really interesting to like.
You get a free console. Hey, we fixed your arm. By the way, here's an Xbox. Play this while you're recovering. Number 8. Yeah, 8. Konami has made some changes to its long-running football franchise, dropping the Pro Evolution Soccer branding for eFootball and making the game free-to-play. The Japanese publisher will launch eFootball this autumn as a download-only game that it plans to expand over time. The new eFootball, continuing the brand introduced in 2019, is still developed by the same team that did PES and has been rebuilt from the ground up in Unreal Engine. It launches on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStations and Xboxes, and PC this autumn, with a mobile version for both iOS and Android to follow shortly after. The game has also been built to support crossplay across all platforms. If you can't compete with FIFA, pivot hard. And here we are.
That's fair.
Don't need to buy the new FIFA when you can just play a free PES. Big brain.
That's fair.
Big brain time.
See how it plays out.
I hope it plays well for him. I mean, the game's good. It's always been fun. Just so many people get caught up in a licensing thing. And, like, I understand because I get caught up in a licensing too, but not for, like, FIFA. I get it caught up in for cards.
Yeah.
And it's a different game. It's much less arcadey like FIFA is. FIFA's a very arcade game. I'm interested to see how the new FIFA is. But
it'd be interesting if a sport... Well, I guess, no, because golf, they chopped that up, too.
They chopped it up, killed it, tried to rebuild it, and now are in, like, the weird state of it. So
yeah. It'd be interesting if, like, a sport didn't do exclusive licensing.
What?
I know, right? Crazy talk. Number 9, Gunzilla Games announced that Hollywood director Neil Blomkamp, I always want to say Blopunk when I see his last name. Yeah, when I see his last name though, like that's just kind of what happens.
You happen into dyslexia?
I mean, it's my brain no good.
That is what I do, Zogosh. I think good.
Neil Blomkamp has been named.
Yeah, that'll help say it slow.
has been named Chief Visionary Officer. He will continue the studio on its unnamed He'll join the studio on its unnamed multi-platform AAA shooter, which is being developed by teams in Los Angeles, Frankfurt, and Kiev.
I just like the name Gunzilla.
Gunzilla is interesting.
It's a good name. It'd be funnier if they weren't making a shooter.
Yeah.
If they were Gunzilla but making a puzzle game.
Yeah, it'd be great. This is gonna be interesting because I do like his visionary eye.
The title, yeah. You think he makes District 9?
I don't know. Maybe he makes the rip off of Halo that he wanted to because he.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to get tied into that.
I want to do the Halo TV show. Fuck you, bottle of water. Yeah. No, he did some good movies. I haven't seen Chappie. That's the one I haven't seen.
I haven't seen Chappie either, and all my references are not good.
I just know it's got
Because
the Antwoord people in it.
Oh yeah, it does have a Antwoord in it. Yeah. You know who all my references are from.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's Funhouse, right?
It's James. James
yeah.
specifically. Oh, maybe Chappie doesn't get AIDS. Maybe we don't get AIDS. It's a Google Trends episode. Because they were trying to figure out when Chappie passed AIDS.
Oh, Jesus.
It happened. There was a timeline.
Rough.
Google searches were through the roof for Chappie. All right, number 10. Here we go. The Game Developers' Choice Awards have come and gone. But here are the winners. Best Debut, we're going to give to Phasmophobia.
Game I bought and still haven't played.
A game you messaged Dewey and I about 2 weeks ago and still haven't done anything about that.
Well, I'm not one of those people.
You're not a streamer?
I'm not good at organizing events. Planning. I'm not good at planning.
Keep going.
I'm not good at keeping schedule, like keeping
Attendance?
a date, and like doing it,
yeah.
following through. Not good at life.
Welcome to the new podcast where we just listen to Matt list things he's not good at.
We could do a long podcast on that.
Just people start shouting things, and then he'll just say no. Yep, nope, not good at that one either. Nope. All right, best design goes to Hades. Best mobile game, Genshin Impact. The Innovation Award goes to Dreams.
Dreams.
Was this a Beyond Echo?
I don't know. When's the last time you heard about Dreams?
Right now.
Oh, I just remember that there's a good story coming up. Okay.
Best narrative, The Last of Us Part 2.
That's
incorrect.
bullshit.
Demonstrably incorrect. I hate this. I'm not going to do it. I've done it before. I'm not doing it again. But it's wrong. It's objectively wrong.
Don't worry. It finishes strong.
I understand where they're coming from, but it's not correct. They're like, oh, it's such an epic and yada yada. I'm like, Ghost of Tsushima is a better story.
Yeah.
And doesn't drag on for an entire chapter of nothing. Anyway. Jin Sakai. The best technology is Microsoft Flight Simulator. Best visual art, Ghost of Tsushima. Or Tsushima. Best VR AR game is Half-Life Alyx. Audience Award, Ghost of Tsushima. And the Game of the Year, Hades. Good ending.
Fuck you, The Last of Us Part 2.
The best part is, like, I feel like I can't... There's certain times where I feel like we can't say that. Like, not that we... No, I guess that's the wrong word. Because we say literally whatever we want here. We're not tied to anything. No one's ever paid us to do anything, so I'll just do whatever the hell I want. And even after they pay me, I'll probably still do whatever the hell I want. The issue is that the reasons you and I hate it are not the reasons that the, quote, gamer incel nerds hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I don't give a shit about any of that. I just think it's written poorly.
Yeah, it's not satisfying at all.
It's not even a satisfaction thing for me, because I can understand the no satisfaction of, like, the idea of them going their own separate ways and whatever. It has a worse delay of nothingness than that Red Dead sequence of nothingness in, like, Chapter 3, where it's way longer than everything else.
They talking before the island?
Before you go to Tahiti.
Yeah.
Like how Chapter 3 is
it's just
unbelievably long.
Yeah.
It's that, except worse, because you feel like you're doing nothing. It's just like... and then they break their own story. The other part is that I get annoyed with their own character development towards the end. Mm-hmm. Not the very ending, but the whole scene in the house.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years. We can talk about it. It's been a year. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
The whole Joe coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole entire thing at the house, and then her just being like, yeah, I'm just going to throw it all away to go make a mistake. And then 5 minutes later realize that's not the mistake I should have made.
Yep.
And then it's 5 minutes later to make a mistake, except then you have to go through an area that is almost, it could have been an entire other game. Going to Santa Monica.
Yep. Oh, that game was painful.
God, the pacing was so bad.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, if it
like
was...
Tahiti was paced better. Tahiti, which is out of literal fucking nowhere.
Yeah. If it was significantly shorter, and which would help with the pacing, I would probably have a way more favorable attitude towards it. But
honestly, there's two things I've said, right? Well, there's one thing I've said, the one thing I just thought of. The one thing I've said is it would have been better had Ellie killed herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very strong and very hard to do take, I think. We just talked earlier about Superhot taking out the mission where you kill yourself. Suicide is a very hard subject, and it is not a light subject at all. But I think it would have almost been unbelievably character developmental had she just gotten so overcome and not known and just ends it when she goes back to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, and finds nobody. I would have just been probably right then been like, game done.
Yep.
Great. Wrapped it with a bow, pushed to the breaking point, and snapped. The other option would have been to actually have part 2 and never touch Ellie until the end.
Yeah.
You play as Abby the entire way through, ending stuff where you are Abby finding them in the cabin in the woods. That scene ends, 2 ends, and you're waiting on part 3 where they have the meetup.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 is just Abby's story, and then it's watching her murder Joel.
Yeah.
And then you stop the game there, and it's this glorious moment of everybody going, what the fuck? And then now you get to build anticipation for 3. But, alas, here we are.
Yep. I don't know. More than anything else, I get frustrated with people's acclaim of Last of Us Part 2. A little overrated a bit.
I end up, it's the same thing. I get frustrated with that, and then the frustration with people's praise for the game without seeing the clear faults, and then also people that don't like the game but don't like it for the wrong reasons. Oh my god, this is woke shit. That's not a problem at all, honestly. No. There's clearly, obviously, not a problem with it. And 2, it's shoved down our throats. What part of that is shoved down your throat, you idiot? Anyway.
Yeah, silliness.
On
to some more upbeat stuff. Number 11.
I don't think so.
Activision Blizzard is being sued by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing over a, quote, frat boy, end quote, workplace culture that alleges has led to years of harassment and abuse targeting the women in its workforce.
This is important to note before he even continues. This is the state, a government entity, suing Blizzard.
Yep. Bloomberg reports that the suit filed on July 20th is the culmination of a 2-year investigation into the publisher by the department, which says that Activision Blizzard's, quote, compliance with California's broad workplace protections is long overdue, end quote, while pointing out the lack of women in leadership positions at the company and the difficulties they have faced in gaining promotions. The suit also highlights enormous pay discrepancies at the executive level between women and men, and says women are not only promoted more slowly, they're also terminated, quote, more quickly than their male counterparts, end quote. The company's frat boy workplace culture is also mentioned as a, quote, breeding ground for harassment and discrimination against women, end quote. This was another one of the situations where the actual Bloomberg report article was really long, really in depth with examples, and frankly, it was a lot. So
I read a decent part of the 19-page deposition.
Yep.
I think it was 19 pages.
Yeah. Did you read the part about the the cube crawls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Drunken. Picture a bar crawl. Now put it in a cubicled workspace with a bunch of dudes just boozed out of their minds wandering around to females' cubes.
Yep. Very inappropriately.
Yeah. Then, did you want to talk about the suicide story?
I didn't get to the suicide story part.
There was apparently a former employee who committed suicide while on a business trip because a supervisor had harassed to the point of also having brought, I believe, butt plugs and lube on the trip.
Wow.
And that is in the suit.
Intense. So, yeah, if you are, curious about the inner workings of the suit, read the report, read the deposition, and, go from there. In related news, multiple gaming media outlets have said they will temporarily stop covering Activision Blizzard games in light of these allegations. And today there was statements put out. One statement that we haven't seen is from the highest paid gaming CEO, who happens to be the Blizzard Activision CEO. He hasn't released the statement personally, just some peons have.
They've been pretty bad.
Yeah, they have not been good. The only one that was like, I don't want to say good, but the only one that has been like what you would expect has been from the Blizzard president. And it was basically just like, this behavior is unacceptable.
Jab, right?
Yeah.
Jay Allenbrack.
Yep. This behavior is unacceptable, and we're gonna look into it and do better.
Yeah, it's like the only one that you actually expect out of a PR move.
Yeah, it was a generic PR statement, which is what you'd expect. The ones that we got the one from I can't remember who it was, but it was someone underneath Bobby there, and it was pretty adversary. It was kind of aggressive and hostile.
Yeah, there was also one that was in the Kotaku report, maybe it was the Bloomberg, where there was a quote from Blizzard where it was like them disagreeing with all the charges.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing to get sued civilly, because suing civilly is usually seen as the idea that you have a chance to win.
Yeah.
The government suing you is because they know they're going to win. They are sitting somewhere with a smoking gun.
Yep. And
it's over. So fix it.
Yeah, it's not a good move to come in swinging like that either, because odds are, like what you're saying, they're not going to have a fighting chance. You might as well just accept it and try to be better.
Like
the Reddit post of
the
fucking Blizzard, the Blizzard statue.
Yes.
Outside, and they're like, well, this is aged like milk.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things. Also, I have a solid bet that if California wanted to, and they already might have, obviously it's been a 2-year investigation, that they have more than enough. Like, they could basically probably walk X amount of witnesses to that stand, and it would be bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously, we'll follow this.
If you're going to be a piece of shit like this, you deserve it.
Yep. And it's kind of like it follows the overarching trend in the industry of reformation.
Yeah, toxic white male bullshit.
There was,
or I guess in some cases that it's not necessarily just a white male, but it's usually a toxic male. I think the Ubisoft one would be the argument, like it's not a white male, but
which is where we don't talk about it in this podcast, I don't think, but there was Ubisoft Singapore had some pretty
the Assassin's Creed shit that happened right before Valhalla launched.
So
there are a bunch of part of it is also that oh my god, I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. Efresh Assamarabi or something like that is named in the suit. Mm-hmm. He was like the lead or whatever, or something whatever in terms of WoW, and like silently left last year before Shadowlands, and there was never any like pomp and circumstance about it at all. It's just like, and he's no longer with the company, and he is named specifically in this suit and he's been there since 2003, I think.
So they were clearly like trying to cover.
Yeah, so it was almost like you need to leave now or this is going to get worse. And then it's like, oh, bad news, it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
And he is named specifically in the suit. And then I believe also Bobby is named. But Bobby is named as in having let it continued.
Yeah. I mean, that's the part that irritates me.
They've known about it since he's been there since 2003.
Mm-hmm.
It annoys the shit out of me. Yeet them all to the moon. Put them on a spaceship, but make sure it crashes. Like I don't know what more you want. Obviously, change is what we want, but that's not the.
Yeah, I mean, we probably could have done the whole podcast shitting on Blizzard and Activision this week. They had a rough week in the news. There was the
Warcraft 3 right afterwards.
Yeah, Warcraft 3.
They bottled it because they were just arguing, and
yeah.
So the guy, I'm going to refer to him as that from now on because I don't remember how to pronounce the name, and frankly, I'm going to forget his name. He has a bunch of references in the game to him.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is a field marshal, I believe, in Stormwind as an NPC. And one of the first posts on like the subreddit after the like news and stuff broke and people like dug through all the reports and yada yada, was a post of a few Horde players that flew there, murdered his body, and went, "Don't worry, we took care of it." It's like, fine, we'll take matters into our own hands.
It's kind of funny.
But it's like if you were to be Blizzard and try to scrub him from the game, you have a lot you need to remove. Which I think you should. I think you should work on doing that. But like, you need to almost implore the community at some point to be like, we're going to grab everything we can think of. Please tell us where the other ones are that we're going to miss. Because they're going to miss them. He's been there since 2003. There's going to be a ton of references. But yeah, just be better. This isn't hard. It's not hard to, not be a giant shitbag. I think I do pretty decent at not being an entire shitbag. And at least definitely not in this regard. Okay, I'm arrogant, but I won't do this shit. This is disgusting.
Well, there you go. There's the video game industry, a portion of the video game industry as it stands now, and we will...
What's worse is they're not alone.
We will watch it.
You know
I mean, certainly not. And honestly, it's generally the bigger companies that have an issue with it, so I'm sure we'll see more.
The kick is...
There's a few big ones that we haven't seen mentioned. And
I just keep waiting.
I'm sure the other shoe will drop here at some point.
Yeah, I mean, the kick... Well, not the kick, but... The Ubisoft shit was big last year, and they made the immediate move of hiring outside investigations, entire third party, and then just going, okay, we fire based on your recommendations, and we'll do what we need to do. Which, hey, it's a good idea to not play judge, jury, and executioner, because you're biased. So Ubisoft did it decently. Albeit too late, went on for too long, always does. That's how this works. It's not good, but it's just the case. The Blizzard one's the next one, next quotes, where we all wanted to think it. But this isn't also a news story. There have been those allegations getting thrown around at Blizzard that shit's been going wrong. We've talked about it before, where there has been something along these lines happening and yada, yada, yada. But now it's the state suing them. So now it's like, hey, shit's about to go down. And again, we're tip of the iceberging at the industry as a whole. So I won't be surprised. Well, I'd be surprised. But I'd also not be surprised to see a lot of very large studios quickly doing internal reviews and quickly hiring outside PR help to start figuring out are we about to have a problem? You should have done it anyway, but you better do it now.
Purge.
That's the other. I don't know if you've seen anything in this WoW subreddit.
Mm-hmm.
People have been using Arthas's purging of Stratholme and quoting him as being like, this entire company must be purged. And Uther and Jaina, who normally in that scenario say, no, I can't follow you this time, Arthas, or whatever, you're not my king, or something like that. Or we're like, actually, no, we agree. Let's burn it all down. Burn the whole thing down. Number 12. Let's move to a joke. We got a little bit of a Skull and Bones update via an insider report from Kotaku. Apparently, the game has been in development for 8 years and has already cost Ubisoft $120 million. It began as a pirate MMO similar to Rare's Sea of Thieves, then became a more focused session-based multiplayer game, then a survival crafting adventure, and now, apparently nobody working on it really knows what the game is now. Nate's only been saying that since it launched, or at least got debuted. One developer Kotaku spoke to described Skull and Bones as Ubisoft's version of Anthem, in that small slices of the game may look good, but the underlying mechanics and content aren't there. I've only said this literally since we saw it. That is going to be a gigantic problem.
So apparently it's one of those situations to where they've sunk so much money into it that...
Yeah, sunk cost fallacy.
Yep. And it's being subsidized by the Singapore government.
Oh, that's good.
Because it's obviously it's mainly being developed outside of Ubisoft Singapore, and
they're like, listen, just
and that's the whole thing. Is like the Singapore government said that they would like help pay for it as long as it was a new IP created in Singapore. So
I can understand the wanting to have a little bit of a claim to it, but
oof, maybe not this one.
Yeah, it's funny you put that story in after your hashtag during the week. You remember what you hashtagged me?
Oh yeah, Nate is always right. I think it's what it was.
Yeah. When I said EA Play is about to be really underwhelming.
Yeah. Speaking of EA Play 2021. What's EA got for us?
That should be the subtitle for all of them. Xbox.
What you got for us?
What you got for us? What wares are you trying to sell me?
A little bit of a different... I don't know, actually. It's not so much of a different EA Play.
All digital.
Yep, all digital. No. In the actual EA Play event, like conference event, I guess you'd want to call it, they didn't really do any sports stuff. They saved those for standalone streams.
Yeah, like their own panels and stuff.
Which I didn't cover because I just didn't.
And so, fun fact, we're not going to cover it because I'm not going to talk about it either. I'll talk about one thing, FIFA. I'll talk about one thing.
Okay. All right. So first up, we got. You want to go FIFA first? Or do you want to do this first?
I'll do the FIFA thing real quick. So EA Play hosted by Austin Creed.
Mm-hmm.
We'll throw that out there.
Yep.
Very energetic. Great job.
Mm-hmm.
Almost too energetic. Let's tone it down a little bit, but that's just me. Pessimistic. Can't be too happy. The FIFA thing, the cool tech they showed was that instead of homebrewing their animations, or not even necessarily homebrewing because they did do some mocap usually, but they would only have like 3 or 4 people in a studio at a time. They actually had the technology and used some machine learning AI and yada yada, and they played a full 11v11 soccer game with everybody wearing motion trackers and everything else to grab what actually it looks like in a game. So it's like the new tracking technology just seemed very cool.
Yeah,
that's really
for sure. They wore a jumpsuit basically underneath their regular
jumpsuit with a bunch of pads stuck onto it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Something I think the quote was that they added 4,000 new animations this year,
mm-hmm.
which some people get very confused on what an animation means. I believe, and I'm not the I'm not the developer at EA, but I believe their definition of animation is like a foot moving one way or like a leg moving one way or whatever. not the complete animation set you see when somebody actually like jumps and shoots, which is probably like 30 animations together to make one fluid image happen. So it's not like, you know, oh, I got stuck in an animation. It's like, well, there's probably like 17 of those going off right now, but still, 4,000, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see some gameplay. Maybe some bugs if it didn't go well. Who knows? We'll see.
Maybe. I just want to see FIFA play differently for the first time in a few years. The top end is, I just don't like watching it. It's terrible to watch. For me, who actually enjoys soccer.
Okay. So in the actual like EA Play conference,
main event,
they showed Grid Legends from Codemasters out sometime in 2022. It'll have a live action story mode in the form of a documentary, like Drive to Survive, kind of. It's a reference you might need to explain. It's Netflix's Formula One documentary. There'll be open wheel racers, big rigs, touring cars, and more. I did see a Shelby Cobra 289 FIA in there. Nice.
And they said you could have mixed type races.
Yep, mixed type races.
So put those big rigs up against the open wheels and crash them constantly.
Yep. So
I'm intrigued, but like I told you downstairs, last time I played Grid, the driving felt like shit to me. So I'm hoping it feels different.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I played Grid and it wasn't great.
I was not impressed.
Big yawn.
For a game that's supposed to be like a racing game, it almost felt like Burnout, except Burnout actually felt good to drive.
Yeah.
Burnout felt good to drive, where Grid was like wanted to be Burnout.
Yeah.
Which is a very weird comparison. Hey,
now
they're both owned by EA.
The whole like story mode thing, I don't know what it is with racing games, but they always seem cringy.
Oh, super cringy.
And this one seems no different to me.
Yeah. We're killing single player games, but we will give you a racing story no matter what you say. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
It's ridiculous. Next up is Lost in Random, the Gothic. Oof, I can talk, I swear. The Gothic fairy tale inspired action adventure from Swedish game studio Zoink. It's due out September 10th. Valen Studios announced Knockout City Season 2, which contains a map of ever-changing movie-inspired arenas called the Hollowwood Drive-In. A new ball, a new playlist, gear, and rewards. Fight at the Movies launches July 27th.
Seems to be doing good.
I forgot it existed.
Do you remember Rocket Arena?
Nope. Oof. Rough.
Their other 3v3 game where you play just with a bunch of rockets?
So dumb. Apex Legends Emergence is the next major update for the Battle Royale and launches August 3rd. And there was a new dude, right? New
Seer,
yeah, that was right.
Yeah, new legend.
With fucking drones. He's got drones that come out of his chest.
Yeah.
Whack.
You got chest drones.
I wouldn't mind having some chest drones. Well, bing, 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 bing. Okay.
Matt is available for sound effects work at the email address, what you just heard. Translate that into words, and that's the email address at hotmail.com.
Exactly. Hotmail. Whoa. EA unveiled Battlefield Portal, which leaked earlier. Battlefield Portal will include 6 remastered maps, 2 each from Battlefield 1942, which is the Battle of the Bulge and El Alamein. Battlefield Bad Company 2.
I don't know why you struggled through that.
I don't know either. I can't say that one.
Valparaiso?
Valparaiso?
Yeah.
All right, you got
Valparaiso?
Erica Harbor. And then Battlefield 3, Caspian Border, and No Canal.
Yep, No Shark. I remember both of those. Caspian Border, by the way, was the map that I was trying to explain to you the one time when I said that map that was very open that initially was only available on PC during the demo. That's Caspian Border. That's the one that has that giant tower that you...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not like I don't play a lot of these games I don't play these games a lot when I do play them, and I never remember the map names.
I remember those two, but I played a lot of Battlefield 3 with the boys.
Yeah.
I also remember Battle of the Bulge I remember the two Bad Company maps, and I remember Battle of the Bulge from... I feel like they used that in a different one as well. But I might be wrong about that, because I didn't play 1942. But I felt like they used that map somewhere else. I might be wrong, though.
The maps have been brought up to the standards of Battlefield 2042.
So they're sexy.
They can all be played up to 128 players on PC and next-gen consoles. And Battlefield 1942 maps also receive destructibility.
Burning down the map.
Burning down the countryside. Overall, this means there'll be 40-plus weapons, 40-plus vehicles, and 30-plus gadgets available from 3 different theaters of war.
It's a lot of theaters.
That is in addition to the 7 maps plus arsenal, vehicles, and gadgets from Battlefield 1942. Battlefield 2042 itself, all playable in Battlefield Portal. Classic factions and soldier archetypes will also make a comeback. It's the builder that truly makes Battlefield Portal shine. Anyone, including those who don't even own Battlefield 2042, will be able to go to a web-based platform and create unique game experiences. This can be done in a simpler way, that is to say by tweaking the settings, or in a more advanced way through a visual scripting tool that manipulates game elements called logic blocks.
Anybody that's done any block coding in something as simple as what was it called? Scratch, I think. It's the same thing. It's drag and drop blocks with variables inside of them that you change.
Mm-hmm.
Easy
peasy.
And I love I'm disappointed it's called Portal. I think we both agree Hub was better.
Yeah.
To give you guys an idea, the trailer that they use for it and some of the game modes, they show off is it Germany from 1942 going off against, is it Bad Company 2 or Battlefield 3?
I think it's both, at different scenes, but yes.
Soldiers with just defibrillators, and the Germany team has just knives. So the entire map is knives versus defibrillators, and that's it.
Yeah. There's a couple caveats there where at launch you're not going to be able to mix factions on the same team. Right. So each team has to be a 100% the same faction.
Yep.
And then I think they plan on adding in the rest of the Battlefield content as time goes on.
Yeah, but still, there's a lot of potential for some community shit to get played more than the actual game.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be whack. The one game mode they're playing where it was like a shit ton of drone robots versus like a tank.
Yeah.
That type of stuff.
Or the one where they were sending out the was it the bomb defusal guys that used to be a perk in Battlefield 3? Whatever, the guys with the arm at the end that would just zap things, and there was 18 of them just all riding across the desert. It's I'm so ready for this.
Yeah. The Spitfire dogfighting with an F-22. Whack.
Yes, yeah.
And then last...
Or the best clip of the German soldiers launching their Jeep equivalent into an Osprey with dynamites attached to it.
There's going to be so much just ridiculous YouTube clips.
Oh yeah, it's going to be one of the biggest Battlefield moment games that we've had in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Only in Battlefield. No, quite literally.
It's interesting because you can very much foresee Battlefield Portal outshadowing
2042.
2042. Outshining 2042.
We're about to look at those guys that used to jump out of fighters and shoot the RPGs and get back in as amateurs. That's about to happen.
Yeah. It's going to be whack.
I hope what we saw the one kind of guys doing where they dropped in a 4-man squad of the 2042 specialists versus, was it World War whatever, 1942 Germany or something, and they were going through stealth killing things and yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping people can actually build stealth missions a la the Battlefield 3 Spec Ops, where you cranked it up to veteran difficulty and had to, in order to get 3 stars, never get detected, and you had to be very I had so much fun doing those. I have so many fond memories of sitting on we were on a futon side by side of All right, hold on. I got to shoot. All right, I need you to crouch in front of me so I can shoot that camera. All right, shoot the camera, shoot the guy in the head. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're good. Slow and just like sneaking around. Then you end up finding a camera somewhere that you didn't know about. Get detected, and you're like, gotta restart. And you get to a point where you're somehow like murderously efficient in stealth.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no counting anymore. You just need to rush to that point. So it's just bang bang. Get back to that point. You're like, all right, now we're immediately back to being slow. Everybody crouch.
I want some like whack castle defense shit where it's like, you know, like a small modern team with all modern weapons defending a point against like hordes of like 1942 troops with like 1942 weapons.
Okay, yeah. I also like the one that we saw from, I don't remember, was it Gabitron? It was the random loadout situation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just because random loadouts can always end up being fun because depending on what you get stuck with, there's a solid chance you become a suicide bomber.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, well, I have a knife.
Yeah. It's like a Battlefield's version of like Gun Game.
Yeah, except Gun Game where you're guaranteed to progress to another tier and you know what that tier is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is just hope for the best.
Yep. Chaos.
If you end up with an LMG and the entire other team accidentally respawns with knives or just dynamite, you're like,
it's going to be a good game.
Good game. But then if you are on the opposite team, you're like, I'm going to go stealth for a while and just run all the way around to throw a dynamite from behind.
Last up, EA Motive is working on the Dead Space remake. It's going to be next gen only.
Yes.
No release window, but it is a from the ground up remake using the Frostbite engine.
So what scares you more about that? There's one word. Frostbite.
I think it's kind of weird because like I think in this instance, Frostbite's fine.
I guess there's two things that scare me then. Frostbite and Motive.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's probably too early.
Yes. I guarantee this is at least 2 years out.
Yeah, it's too early to be showing it. The whole from the ground up remake kind of worries me because like that, if it was like a genuine from the ground remake, cool. I just hope they don't try to like change too much, like try to make the story better or something like that.
Right. Like I don't want them to change anything, but they needed to do a ground up remake to actually get the full sound. Like if they're RTXing Dead Space 1, its sound was one of its best factors. So do you just hate water bottles?
Yes. They ray trace everything.
Yeah. If you do ray trace your lighting and retrace your sound in a Dead Space game, it's going to be unbelievably terrifying. And then you also need to rebuild it so that way you don't just slap a skin on it and go, it's remastered. Like, that game deserves to have the full love and care of getting rebuilt and so many triangles put into it. So many. You can't even count the triangles.
Yes.
Anyway, here's some stuff that we didn't talk about. Or do you have anything more on EA?
Nope. I mean, they showed us stuff, but obviously Dead Space we won't see for a while. It's probably shown us too early. And Battlefield, just give it to me already.
It's like me at the bar.
Yep. Apex Legends, I don't really care about. I'm sure it'll be fun. Knockout City, definitely don't care about. Lost in Random, don't really care about. Grid Legends, I am curious, but I don't have a lot of faith.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, depending on when it comes out, if there's something else I want to play on EA Play, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't get it for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. Things we didn't talk about. Ferrari is partnering with Epic Games to bring the 296 GTB to Fortnite. Epic says the Ferrari will play like other vehicles in Fortnite, but will sound like the real car.
I don't know what Fortnite is anymore.
Advertisements for kids. So they can use their mom's credit card to buy a Ferrari 296 GTB.
I want that story to happen.
That'd be so funny. I wanted the car from the game, so I spent $3 million. I'm sorry.
I saw 2 Lamborghinis today.
No, yeah. I saw somebody with a brand new Corvette convertible.
The C8, the new one.
I think so. It was the newest one I've seen. It looked future-y.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably a new C8.
It was obviously red.
Yep.
And the guy was old. And it was in Rome.
I stopped to get gas at my normal place today, and I pulled in, and right next to the pump that I was at was a lime green Lamborghini convertible of some kind.
Aventador?
No.
Gallardo.
I think it was. But
two of the more popular ones.
On the way up here, coming down 12, was another Lamborghini, which this one was clearly more expensive. And that one, because the one at the gas station was
Mercy?
convertible. So,
Could have been a Mercy.
Maybe. It was, I want to say it was like a dark purple maybe, or like a dark blue. And it had like a red, lip, like a red trim on the front spoiler, like front air dam. It was like one of those ones where you see it and you're like, oh yeah, like
okay, yeah.
So that was weird.
Number 2, Splitgate has more than 600,000 downloads and has reached over 50,000 concurrent players. Hey, way to go, Splitgate!
Yeah, good job.
Keep doing you. Ubisoft announced that it will be ending the free-to-play mobile RPG Tom Clancy's Elite Squad. Wednesday was the last update, and servers will shut down on October 4th.
That went well.
That's interesting, considering you're going to try to do the same thing with your new shooter that we didn't talk about.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that one.
X-Defiant.
Huh. I totally forgot about that.
I didn't even notice until this story, and I was like, oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that. Anyway, they have a new free-to-play shooter coming out, arena-based shooter that is doing what the Elite Squad did, where it's pulling from all the universes of Tom Clancy to put characters in from that.
Yeah. Not mobile, though.
No.
This one just looks like...
Yet. Maybe? It might be part of it?
What's that?
There might be mobile?
Maybe.
I feel like there was a mobile...
I mean, it literally just looks like a mishmash of... It looks like... Yeah, it just looks like a mishmash of, like...
I'm intrigued
Rainbow
to see how...
Six and...
Yeah, I'm just intrigued to see how it feels. And Ghost Recon?
Yeah, Ghost Recon. There's
Also-
one more, too.
Also Tom Clancy. Splinter Cell? They have, in the image for Splinter, they have one of the guys wearing the night vision, so...
Well, maybe.
I mean, those are the 4 franchises. Splinter, Ghost Recon, Division, and Rainbow Six.
It's got, like, vibes from the new Rainbow Six game. That's not out yet. Extraction.
A little bit, but more movement.
Yeah.
Where Extraction, you're supposed to go slow, obviously. And even regular Rainbow Six, you'd go slow because you're breach and clearing almost.
Mm-hmm.
Where this has more of a fast-paced shooter. So I'm intrigued to try it.
Yeah.
Number 4, Epic has announced that it has bought 3D marketplace Sketchfab. With the acquisition, the companies aim to, quote, make 3D, AR, and VR content more accessible to creators, end quote. Sketchfab will not be rebranded and will continue to operate independently while working closely with Epic. Probably become available very quickly in their store.
Yep.
Number 5, Sony, the 5 of this section anyway. Sony has already updated the PS5 digital. It's lost about 300 gigs of weight.
300 grams, sorry.
Can't do this to me. What do you think we are? Some metric using country?
My bad.
It's lost about 300 grams of weight, but the dimensions have stayed the same. The current theory is that the fan and heatsink have been downsized or removed.
Don't need that shit.
What? Cool your things? Screw you.
You could just buy another one and breaks. They're so easy to get.
I don't know what that was. Anyway, it's been 7 days. What you been up to?
Not much.
Good talk.
Playing Mass Effect 3. Kind of quit halfway through the week.
Did you
finish it again at some point?
I was gonna say, did you quit playing or did you just quit for the week?
I just quit for the week. I was just like, I'm good. I mean, I'm like, I got to be pretty close to the end because I did my normal thing where I went around and did all the side quest stuff. So,
Gotcha.
watched Unbreakable the other day. It's a good movie. I like it.
Did you get to the scene where he's standing there with the I-beam?
With the eye beam.
Is that Unbreakable?
It might be a different one you're thinking of. Unbreakable is the first one. With just Bruce Willis in it.
Nope. This definitely doesn't have Bruce Willis in it. Well, I lisped that real hard. I
Unbreakable's
just said Bruce Willis. Oh, what am I, Mike Tyson? Give me your ear.
One, where it's split in glass, or the sequels.
Oh, yeah, not at all what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of a different movie. One where like the guy's in like an internment camp or something. He's being held by the Japanese, maybe?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, the World War II thing.
Yeah, and they make him like hold an I-beam above his head. Yeah, that's punishment.
Yeah.
They're putting him on display, and he just refuses to break type of thing.
Yeah. I think it's also called Unbreakable.
Okay, as long as it's also called Unbreakable, and I'm not insane, but I'm not positive that, I'm right, so.
That's about it for me. I mean, did baby photos, like pregnancy photos, I guess you call them. I don't know. And yeah, that's my life. What are you up to?
I mean, same as usual. World of Warcraft and Football Manager and yeah, those things. That's basically it. MLB The Show. Just usual. Same rinse and repeat. Same stuff as always.
Yep. I feel you.
Yeah, not much has changed. Shocking. We're not to the point yet where I said things were going to change, so we got a little bit to go before we get there. And then we'll see how much things actually change. Or if I just burn through the content that I need to burn through.
Yeah.
Because that's the other part for the course for me is until we hit like October where Battlefield comes out, everything else is going to be kind of slammy. Where it's like, yep, got it, done. Got it, done. Got it, done. Got it.
I don't even know what's out next that I care about.
Far Cry. That you care about.
Is that out like
October 6th.
Oh, it's so far away. There's nothing else before that. I'm going to have to look into
that. You care about? No.
Okay.
So you go look and tell me I'm wrong.
What are we in, July?
Believe it or not, yeah, we are in July.
Okay. July.
Do you want to have this as in the podcast, or would you like to end?
I don't really care. I mean, we can end it. I don't think anyone really cares about what I'm doing in my life.
That's true. All right. So we'll see you guys in 7 days. Bye-bye.